one cousin on Thanksgiving that don't bring nothing but leave
Yeah.
with a couple of to-go plates. That's that's the energy I would have bought to this show. I would have had all the Lion stuff I would have went on Amazon and found some Lion stuff. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll be a lucky lefty. Yep, look at me go ahead and order Detroit Lions grit t-shirt. Listen, okay? But I'll tell you this much. I think it's very interesting to see how the dynamic has shifted because for years, I mean, I'm 28 years old now. And for as long as I've been alive, since back when they was in the Silver Dome, all the way up to now.
Yeah.
Anytime we thought the Lions had turned the corner, anytime we thought, oh man, they're good now, there was a game like this that comes along. There was a game like this against a team that was an inferior opponent. When we all know in the NFL, it's any given Sunday. The difference between the best team and the worst team, this thing.
Incremental. And
to see that the Lions found a way to pull this one out, despite Jared Goff doing his best to say, hey, I'm going to pull a scissor. I can't see. I'm blind. I'm going to throw to everybody wearing the white jersey today in Ford Field. To see that the Lions were still able to pull it out, it's a different day. It's a new day. Yeah. And again, I'm glad you didn't send that text because today would have got downright disrespectful.
Bro,
today would have got.
Man, let me tell you, Justin had just come back too. And the way he was running on y'all and throwing, I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, whoa, we up 12 with 3-4 minutes left. I'm like, this text is about to be real good. And then all of a sudden, I'm telling you, I'm glad that I had tapped into my spiritual side at service. Because Holy Spirit, that boy said, it's not over.
You know, the Lord was looking out for you. The Lord was looking out for you. And like I said, I'm gonna be a good man. I ain't gonna gloat too much. I ain't gonna do too much gloating. However, gotta let you know a little something. On this wonderful Thanksgiving Eve. And all I got for you, one pride, baby. One pride, all right? Restore the roar. Restore the roar, baby.
I respect one pride, but it's still bear down over here.
I got you.
Hey, all respect.
I'm gonna tell you.
Let me tell you something, man. All you want to do is be dangerous. And this is how, like I said, we're doing this is Notre Dame culture. We're about to connect the Notre Dame part to this conversation, right?
Absolutely.
And shout out the way you guys have recovered. Like if Brendan Armstrong had played like this a little earlier in the season, and they had recognized the dude that Concepcion was and kind of used him more as a chess piece, defense has been pretty solid. North Carolina State has turned this thing around. They look pretty good right now. They're a team that I wouldn't want to play late in the season. I wouldn't want to play in a bowl game to where they're playing right now. And that's what we're wanting Notre Dame to be moving forward.
Right.
You know, when it comes to Ohio State facing Texas A&M first game of the year next year, you know, facing a Georgia team possibly in a playoff, you might not be them, but you just want to be dangerous. You know, and that's the way I see the Lions. You might not be the Eagles. You might not be the 49ers, but you just want to be real dangerous by the time you get to the playoffs. Because if you're dangerous, you give yourself a good shot.
You know, I think it's being a little bit overblown, some of the struggles that Notre Dame have faced down the stretch here. But I do also see the idea that, I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of had to know what you were walking into. Some of the statistical greatest seasons of all times that were produced by transfer guys were produced in years 2 and 3.
Yes.
Jordan Travis, you know, hey, brother, we hope you have a speedy recovery. Look what he was in year 1 and 2 at Florida State. Look what he looked like in year 3. Joe Burrow, look what he looked like in year 1 with LSU. Look what he looked like in year 2. Jaden Daniels going back to the Bayou. Look what he looked like in year 1 with LSU. This year, I'm sorry, I've seen all the quarterbacks play. I've seen all of them because we know the Heisman is a quarterback award now. That's just the reality. If you want to get that thing unhanded from a quarterback, you got to do something outlandish, unruly, if you will. And with that being said, I've watched all of them play, and I don't see how you don't have it to either Penix or Daniels. I don't see how you give it to anybody else. And with that being said, look at what they were in year 1 and 2. The guy that's up against Penix out there out west, Bo Nix, look what he was. And the list goes on and on and on. But the reality is 9 times out of 10, when you're bringing in a transfer quarterback, it's going to take a year for them to get fully adjusted and acclimated. And if you're bringing in a transfer quarterback with the idea that, well, the team around you is that stacked and that good to where we can overcome it, you better have something absolutely not just special. You better have something otherworldly at every other position, which, with all due respect to Notre Dame, that's not the case. That's not the case. This is a good team. I'd say a very good team, good to very good. But this is not the type of team that's like, hey, you could throw anybody back there, and as long as you can hand the ball off, as long as you can hit a 5 to 10 yard slant, you'll be okay. That's not that type of team.
I totally agree, because I think when you're talking about the first question we're going to bring up from a cultural standpoint, let's look at this, and then I'll throw like 4 or 5 teams out there.
Mm-hmm.
The Wolfpack. Yeah. Every time you talk to us, right? Mm-hmm. And by the way, Ken Gibbs, co-host, Locked On Wolfpack, Locked On ACC.
And Locked On College Football Live. They got me locked on every way but loose. Just know that. But go ahead.
And now you're going into basketball season. Like this guy does everything. Hey, bro, I might come check out that Wolfpack women's team. I like them. Oh, this ACC is deep, boy.
Let me tell you something.
Side, it's real deep.
And I think it's very interesting because ACC women's basketball has been amazing for multiple years now, but it's just now starting to get that national recognition that it deserves. You know, like people were saying, well, who's better, them or the SEC? And I'm like, okay, when South Carolina was rolling at their highest clip, they were the best team out of everybody. Sure. Kentucky with Ryan Howard and all that, they weren't good enough to come in and beat a bunch of good ACC teams. Like, what are we doing here? You know, like, with all due respect, Pat Summitt ain't walking through that door for Tennessee. They're a good team, but they weren't beating any of those Louisville teams we saw. They aren't beating this Elizabeth Kitley, Georgia Amore team that we're seeing now. What are we doing here? You know, so I think that I would say, and I know some people are going to say my opinion is biased, not on that. But the reality is, I don't think that there is a conference in women's basketball right now that's as good as the ACC. I'd probably say it's ACC, SEC, Pac-12 in a close third. Pac-12 in like a real close third, probably Big Ten in like a 3A, maybe 4 situation.
That's fair. Because I think really Pac-12, Big Ten are interchangeable.
Yeah.
You know, Big Ten just happens to have a superstar.
Yeah.
Big Ten hasn't had a superstar women's basketball. Yeah. Caitlin Clark has been that. So that's kind of brought more attention. Well, Caitlin Clark, you know, Indiana's been okay. Illinois actually makes no sense to me. Yeah. I have no clue how you're this close to Chicago and you don't have a bomb women's basketball team down in Champaign every year. Maryland, like you said, the job they've done. I agree. Maryland actually played South Carolina pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, in that Elite Eight last year. So, but getting back to what we're going to talk about, because I'm going to ask you for Notre Dame and for North Carolina State and some other teams. Because we're talking
about
Thanksgiving, culture, tradition.
Let's talk about it.
The next step for North Carolina State, you talked about this. Like, it's time to make the next step. You thought the Notre Dame game could be, that game that could signal the next step. How far are the Wolfpack away? How far is it? When you talk about that next step, how far is that next step away?
The crazy part about the Wolfpack is there are only 5 teams to win 8 games or more in the last, each of the last, I want to say 4 to 5 years. And the Wolfpack are one of them. Now, granted, Ohio State belongs in there as well because they played exactly 8 games in the regular season, I want to say. And so that's not really fair per se to say, hey, they didn't win 8. Well, yeah, the COVID year took them out. So really 6. With that being said, I look at this and I say NC State is right there. And the thing is, watch how bad this is, right? When you talk about Brennan Armstrong and why he was benched, and why I was an advocate for him being benched. I'm not going to lie to that. I'm not going to hold any, the reality of what happened in the Louisville game. The defense holds the most explosive offense in the conference by a mile at that time now. By a mile to 13 points. And you can't win that football game? You have a play. I have a locked on look of the week where I draw up a play every week where I like dissect what happened on this play, what should have happened, all that good stuff. This team ran a switch deep in fade or will fade, whatever you want to call it, out of that out of the slot. And they were running cover one. And he threw to a double covered in route as a 6-year guy. And then to end the game now.
So did they drop a robber into the middle of the field?
No, they didn't. They didn't drop a robber. They were coming
cover one. Okay.
Yeah, they bought a dog. But it was a cover one dog. And so safety middle of the field high. Now, your guy on the wheel, he's open. He has a step. Put the ball out in front of him, where if you overthrow him, it goes out the back of the end zone. If you put it right on him, 6 points. The only thing you can't do is underthrow that ball. That's it. Instead, we throw to the in route, overthrow it. It gets picked by a safety. Now, that drive would have put us up 17 to 10. Louisville only scored 13 points in that game. Well, wait, there's more. RIP to Billy Mays, but wait, there's more. This team got another chance to redeem themselves at the end of the game. We're down 13-10. We get the ball back. I believe it was like a minute and a half left or something along those lines. The first play of the drive, there is immediate pressure, and Brennan Armstrong throws up what is tantamount to an arm punt. There was no receiver that was close to the ball. It gets intercepted. That's unacceptable from a year 6 guy because there was enough time for you to take a sack, come back the next play, dust yourself off, and try it again. So the reality is with Brennan Armstrong turning it around and all that good stuff, and in terms of how close is NC State, think about it this way. Had Brennan Armstrong eaten a sack there and led a drive for a touchdown, NC State is in the ACC championship game this year. They'd be in the ACC championship game this year. Not only in the ACC championship game, they'd be in the ACC championship game against the Florida State team that just lost their starting quarterback. That little thing, either one of those plays going the opposite direction, either he throws the fade or he puts a money ball right on his receiver's chest if he was to throw the end, we're looking at a totally different ball game that NC State potentially wins, that then elevates this program to a conference championship appearance. But instead, we on the outside of the club once again. So it's that, Al Pacino, Any Given Sunday. Gentlemen, it's a game of inches. Mm-hmm. And it really is that game of if 2 plays go differently for this team. And I don't want to put it just on Brent because there are multiple other games and multiple other moments where, hey, if this play goes just this much different, if this guy does a little bit more straining, we end up in a better situation. But I think NC State is right there on the cusp. My challenge to NC State, my challenge to Dave Doran, you've knocked on the door for so long. Mm-hmm. At some point, sooner or later, you got to put on your steel toe boots. You got to get your battering ram out. You got to kick that thing on down.
Yeah.
You got to kick it on down. And so that's where I'm at with Doran and NC State, in that this team has hit a level of consistency that has never been seen at NC State. Playing phenomenal defense, playing offense coming along now. And I think with these players seeing that Anai and his systems work and buying in next year, they'll be better there. But it's just that 1 or 2 plays. It's just that 1 or 2 moments where if we were better, you end up in a conference championship and maybe even further as a result. So that's how far I think the Wolfpack are. I don't think this is they're a world away from being all the team that everybody wants them to be in Raleigh and all that. I don't think that's the case.
You know what's crazy? Notre Dame fans probably feel the exact same way. Or maybe they don't. So let us know, chat. Let us know what you think. How far away is Notre Dame from truly getting over that hump or getting to the next step under Marcus Freeman? Because I think incrementally improvement has been made. More than likely, they'll win. If they win the bowl game, they'll end up winning 1 more game than they won last year. Mm-hmm. Marcus Freeman's first 2 seasons are better than any head coach, I think, in the last 30 years at Notre Dame. And that's with the disappointment of the Marshall game. The
Yeah.
Stanford loss at home last year. The disappointment of the Ohio State game, how that ended. Louisville on the road. And most people say, man, what in the world is wrong with this team on the road? And I always say, man, really, that's an honest evaluation, because most fans would say, well, man, they played really good against North Carolina State on the road. I'm like, yeah, but they kind of had a break because of the weather. Like, they didn't start off too good.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that weather break, we don't know how that game might have gone, right? They kind of got to the weather break, had hot dogs, stadium hot dogs, as they explained, and then came back out. Aldridge got loose for 80. And the next thing you know, the fortunes change. But if that's the next step for Notre Dame, like being consistent and becoming the same dominant team on the road as they are at home, and then making the big plays, they had 4 opportunities on that last Ohio State drive to close the game out.
Yeah.
Dropped interception, 4th and 17, allowing 18 yards on the pass, and then the 2 plays from the 1.
Absolutely.
Playing with 10 players on the field. Like, those are things that shows, like, okay, you're not equipped from coach down to the last player to take that next step. That's what that Ohio State game showed me. You're not ready as a program in totality for these moments. And that, if that's the case, that's an incremental improvement from last year, where you even question whether or not they could beat teams like Marshall or Stanford as they get ready to face the Stanford Cardinal this weekend. So the next step for Notre Dame, for me, is a lot about development, but it's even more about playmakers. Who are your playmakers in those moments, right? You get the guys that are not going to drop that interception. Make that play. If that's Kyle Hamilton and not DJ Brown, it's probably game, set, match.
Yeah.
For Notre Dame. If you have an eraser at quarterback instead of a guy that we come to learn, and I think he learned, like, yo, this quarterback in Notre Dame is a different weight than quarterbacking at Wake Forest. I think that affected him, possibly along with a few other things. But I think the next step for Notre Dame, because I think Notre Dame and the step they're trying to make is a little bit different than the step that North Carolina State is trying to
Very
make.
much so.
Because the expectations are totally different. You're talking about, okay, winning the ACC championship. That's the next step, being that team that can consistently contend. And Notre Dame is like, dude, we're trying to beat Alabama, Georgia, and win a national championship.
Yeah.
Because we've been to the college football playoffs. So I think Notre Dame's step might be a little bit more than North Carolina State's, because it's not just as easy to get playmakers at quarterback, wide receiver, because Notre Dame doesn't have the ability to go to the portal, in the same way the other teams go to the portal. It's a lot of different other factors. So, but I think it's doable.
I'll tell you what. Here's what Notre Dame needs to do. If they're going to make the step, because you're right. Notre Dame, to me, Notre Dame is closer to an NC State than it is to Georgia, but Notre Dame's expectations are closer to Georgia's than an NC State's. So they need multiple things. Like, I don't believe that this is one small little nudge away. They have the exact opposite problem that a school like my very hated rivals down the street have, and the boys in baby blue. They are all sizzle, no steak. Notre Dame, beautiful steak. You still need a little sizzle. You still need a little presentation on that thing. You still need that little bit of that, the fajita sauce that they spray on everything that artificially makes it pop and simmer. You need a little bit of that.
It's like when they bring the sizzling fajitas from Applebee's, and you can still hear it. You can still hear it. And, like, okay.
And here's the deal, right? In the trenches, they're good. Offensively, amazing. Defensively in the trenches, you need to get a little bit better. You need a little. There is something. Their defensive line is good enough. They get a lot of stalemates. They don't change the math. Football is a math equation. You always, always, always want to change the math or work the math out in your favor. That is what football is designed to do, right? When a defensive coordinator draws up a blitz, what is it normally designed to do? We're going to exploit their passing sets because we know their pass protection puts 3 over here, 2 over here, the back goes here. If we bring this blitz at the right way from here, we'll have 1 against 0 because we've exploited their differences. The reality is that only works for so long. At some point in time, in the game of football, you versus him, you got to change the math. As a defensive lineman, somebody got to change the math because it's 5 offensive linemen generally against 4 rushers. Right now, there's not a lot of math changes. Even if we're talking about stopping the run, there's not a lot of math changers in that Notre Dame front 7. That's just the reality. So you need that, number 1. Number 2, the quarterback development has to be something. The quarterback development has to be something. You can't just go into the portal and keep getting random guys and say, oh, yeah, this guy should work out. Oh, yeah, this guy should work out, especially on the 1-year rental deal. If you're going to do the 1-year rental deal, everybody else needs to be set, ready to rock, ready to go. If you're going to do that, you need to get a guy multiple years to develop. Look at Penix. I watched it. I've talked about that ad nauseum, how you need that. The last thing in terms of sizzle, you've got the backs, you got the offensive line, you got the tight ends. You need some guys that are absolute playmakers out wide. The game in the year of 2023 is designed. Now, I'll tell you, do you know how different Notre Dame season would be if they would have went from South Bend up to East Lansing and they would have said, hey, Keon, let me talk to you, brother. Let me talk to you. That golden helmet, not the one with the spear on it. I'm talking about the clean gold helmet. It hits different, brother. The alumni network hits different, brother. The opportunities hit different. The wide receiver, you're going to be wide receiver number 1, 2, and 3. You come on over here. We got you for all that, and we got tight ends that'll take the pressure off you underneath. They'll have to, we'll get some. And guess what? We can run the ball like nobody's business. You'll see a lot of single high looks. You know what that means? You and a 5'10", 18-year-old one-on-one, brother. How does that sound to you? Because do you know how different this year would be if at multiple points Sam Howell said, you know what? I've got my blankie. I've got my 6'4" blankie to go up and get that ball. Not only can he go up and get the ball, worst case scenario, I can throw him a hitch. I can throw him a hitch and say, go beat that defensive back and go get me 6, and he can do so. So I think that those are the things that this team needs to do. Defensive linemen, math changers. I think their linebacker core is solid. A bunch of guys who know where they're supposed to be. They fly downhill, they fly around, they do what they're supposed to do. But defensive line math changers, you need quarterback development. If you're not going to go in the portal and get a guy who's got 2 to 3 plus years left, you need to make some quarterback development better than what it's been. And the last thing is out wide. It's a passing game. It's 2023. This ain't Lou Holtz football no more. This ain't that. This ain't get a sail here and we'll run it in the alley. It's not that no more. It's not that. So, if we get those, or if Notre Dame gets those things going, I can guarantee you they'll be at that level. Now, none of those things are easy to find. And that's just being very honest, right? Keon Coleman, 6'4", returning punts. He's 1 of 1. That's not an easy thing to find. You look at quarterbacks in the portal who have a lot of years left. Again, that's a rarity to find really good ones. So if you're going to go the recruiting route, you need better quarterback development. And obviously, the last thing in terms of defensive linemen, it's not easy. It's not easy to find big dudes that can move, big dudes that can get after the passer, all that. It's not easy to find those either. So Notre Dame has the resources to do it. They have the cachet to do it. They have the alumni network to do it. They have the NIL allotment to do it. They have all the things, but you just need to put it in action.
Man, I couldn't have said it any better. Lucky Lefty podcast. Sean Davis, my boy Kenny Gibbs. So let's talk tradition. Tradition, right? Because tradition at Notre Dame means a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of times people don't want to change tradition. People will tell you, man, recruits need to come to Notre Dame because they're 4 for 4. Well, some kids just don't give a darn about 4 for 4. Some kids just want to make it to the NFL. That's it. They've been playing their whole life to make it to the NFL. So you really come to them with the 4 for 40, that's great. Everything Ken Gibbs just said about Notre Dame is right on point. The network, the opportunity, the resources, it's all there. But they won't recognize that until they actually get on campus. It might take them into that sophomore year to realize, like, oh, snap, I still want to go to the NFL, but man, let me tap into this because I can do some other things as well.
Yeah.
And those are the type of playmakers, SHAUN Sevillano, who they have committed in the 24 class that hopefully will be staying locked in, 330 pounds, beast out of Florida. That's what Notre Dame has been missing. A dude that can just take that one arm and push the center back into, like you said, the math. Change the math. Push that dude back into the quarterback. Make your linebackers better. Make your edge rushers better and give them one-on-one consistently. This is what we're talking about. So getting away from tradition. Let's do that.
I mean, here's
some fun.
Here's the thing.
What's the one traditional dish? Because I want to say this and then we can go there because I want the chat to have some time. The one traditional dish, LL Nation, at Thanksgiving that's absolutely trash in your opinion. The one traditional dish.
Well, I'm gonna get it cracking. I'm gonna get this thing started because
let's go, baby. Let's go.
This dish has caused me contention with plenty of friends and family. People have looked at me interested and said all these things about, you know, oh, you just don't know what you're talking about. You ain't had a good one yet. Dressing, stuffing, whatever you want to call it, trash. Get that off my plate. Don't actually not get that off my plate. Don't put that near me. Don't put that near me. Don't. And when I found out, I always thought it was bad. But when I found out how it was made, oh, I was mad. Oh, I was devastated. Let me tell you why I was so devastated. I found out that some people make cornbread first and then break the cornbread up and put the turkey or the peppers or whatever they put in it. They put that in it after making perfectly good cornbread. Are you out of your mind? Have you lost your rabbit mind? What is wrong with you? You got the cornbread already there, brother. You did the thing. You did your big one. You don't need to do anything else. There needs to be nothing else done when you are talking about, oh man, this is some good food here. Dressing, stuffing, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, don't put that on my plate. Don't put that on my plate because we're gonna have problems. We'll have problems if you put that on my plate. That's just can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. I refuse to do it because again, that's a food that don't make no sense to me. Like that. Imagine if we took yams and you know made a much worse, more bitter, less flavorful, less sweet dish out of that. Like we literally made yams, made the best yams you could imagine, and then made something worse out of it. Stop playing. Stop it. Get that dressing stuff and whatever it is. Get away from me. Get it out of here. That is this. It's never gonna fly with me. Never gonna be a thing with me, and that's all there is to it. Looks like we got a little bit of technical difficulty with Sean on the line, but me, Roger, I'm the person that doesn't like dressing or stuffing. I can admit that. I know I'm a strange guy in some ways, and that's one of them. I hate it. I hate it. Don't put it near me. Don't put it near me. Don't listen. See, not a crowd turning against me because I don't like dressing. You know what? I'm okay with this. I'm okay with it because you know I like Sean. I'm a religious man, and you know what they say? They hated Jesus for telling the truth. They hated Jesus for telling the truth. Y'all hate me for telling the truth. It's okay. One day y'all gonna join my side. One day y'all gonna join my side on this issue, and I'll be there with open arms. You know, I'll be there with open arms and loving warmth to let y'all know, hey, you don't have to pretend to like that anymore. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to front. You don't got to fake the funk because I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And, you know, we'll all be better as a society. We'll all be better as a society once we admit together that stuffing just ain't it. Stuffing just, you know, it's again, I understand why. Actually, no, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't understand why people like it. Some foods I can see the vision on why people like it, even if I don't. Right? A lot of food, like potato salad, I see the vision. I don't like it personally. I see the vision. I get why people like it. Deviled eggs, I see the vision. I get it. I may not. Although I did have, shout out to Oak City Steakhouse in Raleigh. I had some calamari deviled eggs that were like, whew, game changer. But I see the vision on those. I don't see the vision on stuffing at all. I don't see it. I don't understand it. It's a confusing thing to me. It's a very confusing thing to me. And I'm hoping Sean come and pull me out here because they turn it on me, Sean. They turn it on me, and it's getting rough in here because I don't like stuff. You know, again, I ain't gonna back down off that take. I go back down. If you have ever seen the movie Barnyard, remember when the Pops was fighting off the wolves and Won't Back Down was playing in the background? That is me for stuffing and dressing. I have lost friendships over this, and I am not sad about that. I am not sad about that. I live with those losses, and I say, you know, anybody that I lost because I hate stuffing was a gain in my book, an absolute gain. But yeah, that's probably my one dish that I like. Now listen, I see y'all all on me about what I don't like, and I appreciate Elizabeth for dropping in green bean casserole being the food that she don't like. What do y'all not like? What do y'all not like? Because, and I'll take stuffing over mashed potatoes is crazy. But anyway, what do y'all not like? Let us know. Let us know. We're here to find out what y'all don't like. So come on with it. Come on with it.
I'm sorry, bro.
See,
I got family coming in town. You family, so you already knew what to do.
Let me tell you. Apparently, I'm about to lose you some subscribers because I just described my hate for stuffing and dressing. They in here ready to, they coming at my throat. And I said, they hated Jesus for telling the truth. They're going to hate me too. They're going to hate me too.
Let me tell you this, bro. I have no problem with the hate for stuffing and dressing. Now, if you're doing that stovetop dressing on Thanksgiving, I question whether or not you're a real cook.
Oh, well, Mark with the glasses says stovetop. He says stovetop is where it's at.
We don't, and maybe that's just a cultural thing. It could be that.
Could be.
You know, but if you're on our side of the culture and you're doing stovetop, we need to have a discussion. We need to have a discussion.
Listen, I don't care if it's stovetop. I don't care if it's made in the stove. I don't care how you make it. If you put some, here's the thing, right? I'm a big guy. I'm a former buffet buster. Not gonna lie, I still can do a little something at a buffet. But let me tell you something. If that's on the plate in front of me, you hate me. You don't like me. You got smoke with me, and that's how you announced it. That's what I'm gonna take that as. So, you know, what is yours, Sean? What is your Thanksgiving food that you just like? Don't want it. Don't want no smoke with it. Don't want no parts of it. Get it out of here.
Turkey.
Really? That's interesting.
I told Malik this yesterday. I come from a house where I'm blessed to have a mom that actually allows her children to dictate the majority of the menu. So we get a text thread weeks before the holiday.
Right.
So tomorrow she's gonna have short ribs, prime rib, goose, ham, jerk chicken, and turkey. Turkey's like 5th or 6th.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. We're not gonna skip past that. Like you did just say what you just said.
Okay, go ahead.
Y'all got jerk chicken rolling at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Let me go look up these flights to Chicago, brother. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. You said our family.
I'll text you the address.
We're gonna see how family we are.
Yes, sir.
Now listen, don't ask me to bring nothing but my winning smile. But if y'all got jerk chicken over there, got jerk chicken,
bring it on.
See, and let me tell you something. That's great ball right there. And I love families. Every family does Thanksgiving their way. Every family does the uniqueness of like, all right, we do our different things our different ways. But I'm gonna tell you, it's very interesting to me to hear about the different foods that families cook and the way they prepare. In my family, it ain't no you get to ask what gets made. You just show up, and what's there is there. You take what you got, and if you don't want it, oh, don't worry about it, brother. We just ain't gonna eat.
Now you see, I did use the word blessed. Because I understand everybody else does not have that same situation.
Hey, let me tell you something now. Because that's especially, we talk about the culture a lot, especially in our culture.
Yes, sir.
Ain't no, you get to choose. No, you get to choose between what was made. You get to choose between what's right here. These are your choices, brother. I love that y'all get sent out a menu beforehand. I need to send it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna clip this, and I'm gonna send it to my family. Just, not to disparage anybody until we love you. Baby, you make the best of everything. Listen, your ribs so good I can't eat nobody else's auntie. You know that.
Right.
But I may have to send this forward, maybe send out a little something in advance, asking everybody what they want, just as a courtesy more so, a suggestion box, if you will, as opposed to you better make this, there's going to be some smoke in the city.
Look, man, like I said, I understand that we're absolutely blessed, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm glad.
It's crazy because one of my mom's best dishes is actually her dressing. And she does not do it with traditional turkey. She actually uses goose in her dressing. And it is, people will tell me like, man, grab me a spoonful of your mom's dressing and just bring it back to your crib and I'll meet you there.
A spoonful is crazy.
Just
a spoonful is crazy. Let me tell you something. Is she putting that thing that destroyed our community in the 80s in it or something? Because a spoonful is crazy now. A spoonful. Now let me tell you this. Your comment section.
Being honest.
Your comment section was concerning me. They was not passing the vibe check for a minute. They just got me back. They just got me back with the chitlin slander. They just got me back. They just got me.
My boy Doma Wop says, between the two of you, you have eliminated two of the most core foods for Thanksgiving. That's what we're trying to bring. This is why we're having the podcast. We're talking about Notre Dame, coming out of tradition, moving forward, being more aggressive in the NIL landscape.
And I'm gonna tell you this,
giving more latitude in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Come on. Help Marcus Freeman. Help him.
Come on with it. And I'm gonna tell you what.
We're trying to help you.
If we talk about breaking tradition, let's break something. Because let's just be honest. Turkey has to be done by an expert. Like, in order for turkey to be good, it got to be done by somebody know how to pump that thing, right? Know how to put the little cheese cover over it and all that. You know what I'm talking about? Not the one that like actually is cheese. It's the one that like they put the sauce on it. They put that covering over the turkey to kind of give it that brownish color all over the top and all. Yeah, you got to have a very specific type of deal going on there. And listen, see, I know I love coming to this Lucky Lefty podcast. I know every time I think your comments lost me, they come back. Because John Mason, ribs over turkey, John Massey, bro, that you talking that talk, John. You talking that talk, John. I like it. I love it here. I love it. I'll tell you what. Listen, just add me on this show for free. I come on back just to talk to your folks for free. Because this is a great time. I'll tell you what, man. That ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of ribs. Right? People ask me, is there any holiday that you couldn't eat ribs on? I say, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you go from the holidays, from New Year's Day forward, every holiday, you can eat some ribs and everything will be all right.
I'm having rib tips tonight. Whew. We had breakfast this morning to celebrate. Matter of fact, happy birthday to my beautiful daughter and talented daughter. She turned 21 today. So that has been an experience, looking at a 20-year-old at my dining room table. And then on top of that, happy anniversary to my parents. My daughter was actually born on that anniversary, and my dad was in front of the fireplace, and he said that's the most upset he's been at my mother when she got up and packed the suitcase.
All righty. I'll tell you what, you know what, we gonna get a good vibes. We gonna play. I don't know. We probably don't got the rights to it, but we gonna sing Babyface Anniversary to your parents. Do you know what today is? It's our anniversary. Hey, happy anniversary to the parents. Happy birthday, your little girl. I'm gonna tell you, I'm an uncle 7 going on 8 times over, right? And I don't live in Detroit with my nephews and nieces. So every time I come home, they're so much bigger. They're so much older. It's like, you are not that little kid that I knew last time I left here. You were just in the Girl Scouts. Now you cheering for the same little league team I used to play for, playing for the same little league team I used to play for. It's a beautiful thing watching the little ones get older and grow and all that good stuff. But yeah, that is, I'm gonna tell you, we are both blessed men in many, many ways. And your family is, even outside of y'all getting to pick what you want on Thanksgiving, y'all are absolutely blessed.
Hey, man, this Notre Dame fan base, Wolfpack fan base, it's a blessing to be able to just root for a team, right? Yeah. And connect your emotions to the ups and downs. And I think the older I get, my Saturdays don't end up ruined like they used to when Notre Dame took an L. Now I'm able to kind of like, cap it off and actually go out, have some fun, come back, move on, and get ready for the next game. And that is a tradition that I think Notre Dame fans are going to be able to step out of. Because guess what, bro? Next year, there is no more pressure of having to go undefeated. The playoffs are expanded. Like Notre Dame, if there were a 12-team playoff, would still have an outside shot.
Yeah.
Even sitting at 18 it would take a lot.
Yeah.
But they would have an outside shot to get into a 12-team playoff.
First thing first, I just want to say that they booed me when I originally said that the playoffs should be 12 teams. Everybody booed me when I first said that. When they first came out with this playoff, I said should be the format. Mm-hmm. Every Power 5 champion and Group of 5 champion that is inside the RPI top 35 to 45, whichever number you feel more comfortable with, should get in. And if your conference champion is outside of that number, they should be replaced by an at-large bid. And then there should be 2 at-large bids on top of that. And I was booed for saying that. I was told, Central Michigan could never beat Bama. And, look what happened when they expanded the playoff in Division II. It's still North Dakota State every year. And I'm like, listen, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not saying that, that the Bamas, the Notre Dames, the Ohio States, the Clemson's and whatnot of the world wouldn't still win it a lot. All I'm saying is everybody deserves a shot. That way we don't get what we got in, 2017, where UCF called themselves national champions because they didn't get a shot. I understand their position because they legitimately did not get a shot that they earned. They beat everybody in front of them. Their average margin of victory was about 3 touchdowns. So, and that's on the side of the little teams here. But if we're talking about a Notre Dame should be in it almost every year. Like, very seriously, in it almost every year. There is no reason why Notre Dame should be outside the top 12 teams every year. But then the challenge becomes different because then the challenge doesn't become just get there. There's 12 teams there now. So you should be. That's the floor. What is the expectation at that point? Win a few games while you're there.
And because you don't have a conference alignment, you have to go through a longer journey, right? You can't get one of those first 4 buys. So now it's a little different, but it's a lot of pressure. Notre Dame fans, enjoy next year because the pressure you felt game to game for the last 35 years trying to chase that Lou Holtz national championship from 1988, it's going to feel a little bit different, right? Yeah. If you take an early loss at Texas A&M, relax. We don't play Florida State and USC until November. Schedule is kind of soft up until that point. Louisville comes to town, but you expect Notre Dame will have a lot of motivation for Louisville when they come to South Bend next year. A lot of motivation. So you would expect that Notre Dame would be ready to roll in September when the Cardinals invade Notre Dame Stadium. Okay, bro. The chat is upset. They didn't like us throwing turkey and dressing under the bus.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, move on. It is what it is. It's okay to be non-traditional and expand your palate. Expand your palate. Expand your palate. Go beyond the tradition. It's okay. It's the same thing as Notre Dame fans we've been begging the administration to do. Well, guess what? You can do the same thing for Thanksgiving. Just expand your palate.
Yeah, drop off some of them ducats. All of a sudden, all those kids that was gonna go to overtime elite or whatever, they hooping at Notre Dame. Ain't that something? We ain't had a team like this since what? Digger Phelps was there. Ain't that something?
Since David Rivers, LaFonso Ellis.
You'll look up
Amy Sweet, Edgar Bennett.
Yeah, you'll look up and say, now wait a minute, where did all these 6'6" boys that run 4.4s and know how to get after the passer come from? Wait a minute. Yeah. You got to do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. It's a different world. Players are more aware of the business side of this thing than ever, right? Like, for example, you look at the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl is the greatest example of why college players are going to need to start getting paid more, right?
Yeah.
What happened to the Pro Bowl? You hear the older guys talking about it all the time. I heard Deion Sanders talk about, back in my day, I wanted to line up against Jerry in the Pro Bowl because I said, I'm better than you, you better than me. Let's get it going. Let's see who the baddest is. And that's what it was. But now players are so keenly aware of the financial side of this to say, well, now, wait a minute. I could go up against Justin Jefferson and say, I'm going to lock you down for the day. I can give everything I got to it. But what if I tweak something?
Yeah.
What if I tweak something? What if coming out of my knee break out the break? Then what?
Yeah.
Then what do we do? Now I'm out of 10 million, 15 million, 40 million, however many. Lord forbid if I'm in my rookie contract still, I'm crying and throwing up because I done lost it all. Lost it all out here messing around and trying to take that serious. it's going to be the same thing for college players. College players are now becoming more aware of the business aspect. Never. I asked the player, I'm not going to name this player. I asked the player to come on to Locked On, one of the Locked On shows I do. I said, hey,
he wanted to charge you. He wanted to charge you.
Oh, no. Not the charging thing. I heard, hey, just get in touch with my agent. Here's their contact information.
You gotta be. We had a dude last year who transferred in that tried to charge us. Like, fam, first of all, you're not even really Notre Dame. Like, relax. We're trying to give you some exposure. Trying to help Ike. And he tried to hit us with an invoice. We were like, okay, that's the end of that discussion.
Yeah.
But breakups. Nothing worse than a holiday breakup, bro. Ooh, because we're going into what is called and deemed cuffing season, bro. See, during cuffing season, some people like to have one option. Some people might want to have multiple options during cuffing season. And it seems like one Dave CLAWSON was feeling a little emotional yesterday, bro. And I don't know why he felt this way. But this is what he had to say. Let's just check out what he had to say.
There's no point in complaining about it. We saw it last week in South Bend, right? I mean, it's, here's a guy that we recruited and we developed, and, they're putting a video on him saying, "We will always love you." And I'm like, you only dated him for a couple of months. It can't be love. We're the ones that love him. We had 5 years with him. You rented him for a season. So, and that's, they bought him and rented him for a year, and now they love him. So it's, that when that video played, it's just like, holy cow, this is where college football is. So.
You realize that quote's about to go up everywhere.
Whatever. I'm past the point. I mean, it is what it is, right? And again, Sam and I had a great discussion before the game and after the game, and I love the young man, I really do, and I don't blame him at all for what he did. I mean, you can't have, that's the system now, and for him to have the opportunity, to have that experience and make that type of money in 1 year, who can fault him?
All right, wait, Sean, are you muted or can I just not hear you?
Yeah, I'm muted. I was just going to say, I'm going to turn it over to you. Dave CLAWSON, I just want to salute you for being authentic. Regardless of what anybody says, whether they agree or disagree, that was 100% authentic. Go ahead, bro.
In the words of Friday, he going to cry in the car.
Absolutely.
He played that Bobby Womack. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight. Girl, let me tell you, because this is a situation where, it didn't work out for, and this is with all due respect to Notre Dame fans, this didn't work out the way that anybody thought it would, right? Like Sam going to Notre Dame didn't make Notre Dame an exponentially better team. It didn't raise his draft stock a ton. It hurt Wake Forest a ton. This is a breakup where everybody got a little bit worse. It's like the DeBarge family breaking up. This ain't like the Jackson 5 where one of them go on to become a superstar. Destiny's Child where one of them go on to, it's just like
Janet becomes a superstar in her own right.
Yeah. This is one of those, DeBarge moments where a great group broke up and nobody really got all that much better from it. And I understand what he meant. I get what he meant from a standpoint of like, hey, this is what college football is now, and it's different than what I've seen. But this also has a little bit of old man shakes his fist at cloud thing. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, yes, you're right. Sam went on to make that kind of money playing college football, which would have never been possible before, sure. But it's the way the world is now, bro. Get with the program. And I remember there was a phrase I would hear a lot growing up that, I took it everywhere with me. That it's two of them actually. Number one, you can't stop the rain. Okay, that's something that regardless of how much we hate it, it's gonna come. And number two, you either roll with it or get rolled over. That's the new law of college football. Everybody talks about, all of the smaller schools are just gonna be feeder schools. Well, you know what your job is at that point? Go find the schools smaller than you, poach their guys. You got to recruit your guys while they're on the roster. You've got to do more because you have more. Football was not always this $100 billion entity. College football was not always that. When the term student athlete was first coined, the NCAA was literally one filing cabinet. That's what it was. This is so far from that. There are literally tons of millionaires being made by college football who don't do anything outside of college football. So, yeah, I bet that it's, a different world than what you walked into, coaching Dave Clawson. But at the end of the day, Kirk Herbstreit wasn't making millions back when you was doing your thing. The announcers on TV talking about college football, they weren't making millions. They weren't living in the lives of luxury and traveling private jets from city to city to city. There was no, and we're coming to your city when you start coaching, coach. So, yes, college football has changed. All of this is a part of the deal. All of it. All of it, the commercialization, all these coaches becoming superstars, Nick Saban being in every Aflac commercial you can imagine, Caleb Williams being in every Wendy's commercial you can imagine. All of this is part of the deal. And I'm glad that he approached it from a standpoint of that's where we are now and not, oh, shame on these selfish players, shame on these selfish, because for years, there have been guys like me coming through college football who, the thought was, I'm going to change my family's life. I'm going to change the course of my family's life. And you walk away with a college degree without financial burden, yes. But I also walk away with two scars on my left bicep from tearing my bicep, a scar on both of my Achilles from tearing my Achilles. Like the coaches and administrators, they looked at us like T.I. looked at the uncle in ATL. This my house. You just been getting over. You just been getting over. They looking at the players
why you trying to curve us on the cereal?
Exactly. Your education is you getting over. And in reality, again, everybody around college football was making money. Everybody was getting paid. Everybody around college basketball was making money. Sonny Vaccaro made it and Nike made it that everybody was making money. Everybody make money except the actual guys who went out there and tore their body down, the young women and men who tore their bodies down for the program, who tore their bodies down for other things. So I respect Dave Clawson's opinion, but at the end of the day, it's old man shaking fist at cloud because we're never going back. Pandora's box is open. You can't shed it and say, hey, I know y'all were making money, but that's over now. It's done. You can regulate it so this better ran, but you can't close that door now.
See, that's why I am, because I am not this guy that just feels like it should be the wild, wild west. We need some guardrails to this thing, right? Specifically December 4th is, I think, December 18th is National Signing Day, if I'm not mistaken. Transfer Day, portal, December 4th. And it's about to be bigger than National Signing Day. As you talk about changes in college football, transfer portal opening day is about to be bigger than National Signing Day.
Yeah.
That's where we are. So you want to stay in the past and you want to stay in tradition, man, you better recognize and try to get ahead of the game, right? Dave Clawson, hey, go poach.
Yeah.
Go poach.
Let me tell you something.
And let me tell you something. I will say this, though. Yesterday, I had about a 5-minute rant because I was upset. It wasn't even about Sam Hartman. He just happened to be part of the rant. Notre Dame did some clout chasing this weekend because on senior day, with Wake Forest in the building, they chose to announce Sam Hartman last. I said, wait a minute. Hold on. That dude that does not represent Notre Dame, that's J.D. Bertrand, Cam Hart, the dudes that actually came through here, blood, sweat, and tears for 4 or 5 years. They represent you. This dude is a hired gun. You brought him here for 3 games specifically. He went 1-2 in those games.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I
and he lost a game that no one expected Notre Dame to lose. And you're gonna announce him last, you clout chasing because now you're doing it because Wake Forest is here. You're trying to ride off of that situation instead of just doing the right thing.
I'm gonna tell you this, that is some nasty work to me personally. I do agree. And at the end of the day, I think the most important thing for us to keep in mind is I understand the thought of like, hey, we want to make it attractive for our transfer guys and tell them like, oh, you come here, we're gonna love you and take care of you and all that.
Yeah.
But have some coolness, some decorum a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you kind of gotta recognize like, yeah, this was their guy and all that. And it's like if you took a guy's girl and then you ride by his job and you know, you got to make sure, hey man, just put the number 4 in the bag, bro. Put the number for extra sauce. I need extra sauce on my baby. You want anything? You want anything? All right, just making sure. You don't got to do all that. You don't got to do all that. It's plenty. You know, you could have did this 1,000 other ways. And with all due respect, again, Notre Dame has been a program that is class personified. Is, you know, has been known as like the standard in terms of, hey, our standard is our standard. We run our program the way we run our program. Everybody don't agree with it. It don't work out with everybody, but this is Notre Dame and this is how we do it. I don't think that was a very Notre Dame moment for them. Like just being completely transparent and honest, I don't think it was a very Notre Dame moment for them. And I understand that was one of those moments where, you know, they kind of slapped Dave Clawson upside the head. So I understand him saying, you know, they say we'll always love him, but we raised him from a baby. He came in us. He had a mullet. The mustache wasn't there. He came in this scrawny little short kid, and we made him what he is. I get it. I get it 1,000%. You know, but at the end of the day, all's fair in love and war, and let's add football to the list while we're at it, right? Because recruiting and all that, you know, it's the same type of deal. And again, at the end of the day, I tell people the same thing all the time. You know, I remember somebody asked me on another podcast. They said, Kenton, we've heard you speak on there before. We know how much you hate the Tar Heels. But for $35 million over 5 years, that's, you know, Spotify podcast is coming to you. And they said they're going to pay you $35 over 5. Would you denounce your NC State fandom and become a Tar Heels podcaster? I said, are you out of your mind? For $35 over 5, I'll burn everything red I own. Every single thing. And I'm a noob. That's every single thing. That thing up there, gone. It's out of here. Okay, the Canes too, all of it gone together for 35. Baby, that's, you know. And
you going to Blue Heaven? You going to Blue Heaven for 35, bro?
It's a great day to be a Tar Heel, everybody. I just want to let you all know that we've got Michael Jordan, everybody. We've got Michael Jordan. They don't have a Michael Jordan over there. We have a Michael Jordan. Duke doesn't have Michael Jordan. North Carolina State doesn't have Michael Jordan. Nobody else has Michael Jordan, but you know, I'm just saying, you know, when you talk GOAT, no other college can even come in the conversation for him. So, you know, LeBron didn't go to college, you know, but, you know, realistically, again, like I said about the Pro Bowl, players are becoming more cognizant of the business aspect of it. Players are becoming more cognizant of, now, wait a minute, I thought I was going to have to go to the league to change my family's life.
Yeah.
If I can make 2, 3, 4 million at 20, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I do that? Why would I turn that down? You do the math on it. You go to school for what, Sean? You go to college for what reason? To get a degree.
Education. Yeah.
You get a degree for what, Sean?
Get a job.
You get a job to do what? Make money.
Yes,
So
sir.
I just skipped a couple steps in that process. I just eliminated a couple steps in one fell swoop. You know, that's how humans are wired. The greatest outcome with the least effort. The greatest desired outcome for the least effort required. I mean, that's it. That's it.
Perfect segue. Outcome, effort.
Yeah.
How much effort goes into the first plate? Because you want the greatest outcome. We had this debate yesterday. I'm interested in saying, because I'm a light first plate guy, right? Because it's a party at my parents' house. It's Thanksgiving is like a party. All the uncles, the cousins, the nephews, they're of age, the NBA discussions, the NFL discussions.
Yeah.
Man, incredible. I know if I go heavy first plate, I'm knocked out.
Yeah,
I'm missing entertainment. So
I see
I'm
it like
light
that.
on my first plate.
I see it like this. You know, it's KYP. KYP. You know what that stands for? Know your personnel. You got to know what's going on, know who's making what, know what's heavy on you, what's not. You got to know yourself. You got to know your internal personnel to know if I eat that mac and cheese with that sweet potato pie, my stomach ain't gonna allow me to do none of this. If I eat them collard greens and them ribs and that turkey, the itis gonna come for me by 3 p.m. I'm gonna be knocked out before I need the game. You got to know your personnel, brother. You got to know your personnel. So for me personally, I got the iron gut. I can do whatever on the first plate. However, just like KYP goes for me, you also got to scout your opponent. You got to know who cooking what. Because my family, we got a standard set of, hey, this is the rotation. These are the people that cook. This is what they cook, right?
Yeah.
We stick with that. However, if I'm going to somebody else's house, since I've been in North Carolina, I ain't been able to go home for Thanksgiving every single year. When I eat at somebody else's house, hold on now. Hold on. I gotta know. You know, you gotta see. I go real light on the first plate when I'm at somebody else's house, because that's just at that point, I'm just scouting. I'm just peeping the scenery of this thing. I'm just feeling my way through this thing. You know, you can't dive in head first if you don't know what's going on there. So the first, I just get a little nibble, because let me tell you something. I'll fold a glass plate if the food nasty. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'll fold that thing right in half. Yeah, let's put that in the trash. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I ate at one of my frat brother's house, and his family was cooking, and I knew it was going to be some problems because the bread was Boston Market. There was the Boston Market rolls, and don't get me wrong, Boston Market rolls taste amazing. But I knew when I saw them, I said, "Oh boy, we in for something." Then I looked at the mac and cheese. My brother in Christ, that mac and cheese was Velveeta. I said, "Oh
no!"
I said, "Oh
no."
Days. So you know, I got I did what I always do. I got the plate, because I don't know y'all food like that. But I saw everything for the most part was either store-bought or 1 or 2 step food. So I said, okay, I'm good to get a little light plate and be done with it. So I get the little light plate. I eat the little plate. I'm, you know, sitting there relaxing. My friend asks me, "Oh, come on, man. I know you can eat. Go ahead. Get another plate, brother. Don't be scared." The whole family looking at me now. I'm like, yeah, I'll go get another plate. When I tell you, I got 2 of them Boston Market rolls, just the slimmest piece of ham you ever see. I mean, this turkey was thinner than my hairline. Yeah, you know the bread that they was eating in that little Mickey Mouse meme where they dropped that little slice. That's it. That's how that was. Listen, you got to know your personnel, brother. So I don't want to give a standard answer, because me personally, if I'm eating with my family, that first plate, let me tell you something. That thing gonna be heavy. That plate gonna come with some weight behind that thing now. Yeah. But if I'm eating at somebody else's house, the first plate, I'm feeling my way through the scenery. I gotta, you know, what we got.
Like a heavyweight boxing match, like
exactly. Now listen, if it's a rematch, if this is the Thriller in Manila, we done fought a couple times already. All right, let's get into it. Let's go. I know what you got for me, brother. But if it's your first time, you got to kind of, you know, just pepper him with the jab. Keep at a distance, pepper him with the jab, see what he's coming at you with, and work from there.
Mark with glasses, you a fool. You get a lifetime ban showing up with.
Listen. Here's the thing. I lifetime banned myself from their house. I wasn't over there. Ever since then, I have never been back there. I love you. If my brother hears this, I love you. I love your family. Thank you for the hospitality.
However,
that's it. Semicolon, comma, but.
However, I stayed Coogee down to the stop.
Yeah. You know, you gotta, because listen, I don't want to go to nowhere for Thanksgiving where I am more than confident that I can make everything there. I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? Why would I? Either I can purchase it or I can make it. Don't do that.
So, hey, our chat is what makes our show. So, Absolutely. Of course, my guy Mark says, put it up on the poll, because me and Mark went at it yesterday with the light plate, heavy plate, first time. So it's up on the poll. Go to YouTube right now. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Poll question of the day. Hey, what does the first plate at Thanksgiving look like? What does it look like? Is it full, overflowing, half full, or is it light? Let us know what you think.
I think it's like how people put their tissue in their bathroom. You know, some people go over, some people go under. It's no way to. It's no wrong way to do it. As long as you know yourself and you know, stay within yourself. You got to stay within yourself, because if you're that person that's talking all that time, I'm gonna whoop everybody in spades. This thing's I've been practicing all year, and then you eat that first plate and you go out. You look crazy. You look funny in the light. You
set yourself up. I'm saying you have to evolve. We're evolved eaters, bro.
Exactly.
Because we've made those mistakes early on.
Now
we understand. Like, no, we want the full experience.
Yeah.
We're all for that. Everything has to be on my plate to start off. We know how to pace ourselves. You know,
let me tell you,
we don't stay stuck in tradition. That's what we're trying to say today.
So my family, the women used to make the plates for the most part. They used to make the plate, give it to their husband, give it to their son, give it to whoever, give it to their brother. You know, that was the deal, right? And once I got older, I don't know what happened. We just stopped doing that. And I'm like, oh, I'm old enough to make my own play. I'm gonna get some of everything on this thing. I was slapping whatever on there. Rookie mistake. I didn't even like half of the food that went on that plate. It was not, I've now learned that go get what you want and go get a heavy quantity. Go put something on it now. Go, put something on it and roll from there. That's my personal philosophy in terms of eating these days with a good play. You gotta know yourself.
I got Irish burnt ends 84. I think it depends on the setting. If it's formal sit down, you have to go in heavy. If it's a grazing affair, you need to have some balance so you are still in the game in 90 minutes. Okay, Irish burnt ends. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah,
that's a fair assessment.
I'll say this. For me personally, if I'm at a formal setting, that's when I really want to do more grazing than anything else. Because if I'm like with folks that I'm not exactly like, this is like a work thing, or it's at like some type of event where I'm with some investors, something like that. Okay, let me eat gently and delicately and not let these people know, baby, I'm from the project. I used to sleep on the floor. The carpet was this thick and under that was concrete. I don't want to eat like that in front of those type of folks. Now my family, they know what the deal is. They know me already. We gonna throw down on there. But I will say this. I do agree with the grazing affair thing. But let me tell you something. Have you ever been to a grazing affair where the food was actually good?
That's a good question.
I haven't.
I have to think about that.
Anytime I'm at one of those joints where everybody, to me, you know how good the food is because you hear silence for at least a good 2-3 minutes. Like when everybody first get their plate,
So you're at a banquet and everybody's up walking around while they're supposed to be eating?
Hello? You know the mashed potatoes ain't mashed enough. It just ain't. Babes, you ain't put no sour cream in these things? You ain't put you just grind the potatoes, put some butter in it, and that was it. No chives, no nothing. No. Okay. More power to you. But me personally, if I'm at a grazing event, those are the events I like to show my face at. I like to show my face and get on out of Dodge. Hey, how is everybody doing? All right. Hey, I'm so happy to see all y'all. It's so beautiful to see all y'all here today. And then you get on out of there and get to the heavy play. Get to where because you can't play around because you mess around and stay at the grazing event too long and the place with the heavy plate done ran out of food or they running low on food. And you can only get about one plate. That's why I always love my auntie Lynn. Again, love you, honey. Love you. She knew when I started growing and all that, and I had to be at practice and thing X, Y, and Z was going on that week, she would put that plate aside so that as soon as I can, Kenton, nephew, how you doing, baby? Here's your plate. I already know what you like on that thing. It was a good time. So.
Hey, so check this out. We're going to bring up the fact that Notre Dame fans are very upset about the fact that Aldrich Estime was not considered or added to the semifinal list of the Doak Walker Award. Notre Dame fans were going crazy on social media, and even Aldrich Estime. And I had a problem with this. Aldrich Estime tweeted out that similar to the Michigan football players. First of all, get your own joint.
Yeah.
Don't get your own joint, Aldrich. Don't do. No. At bet, that was weak sauce. You should have found a better response. Your own customized response, not something that the Michigan players did. Secondly, I agree. He should be on that semifinal list. But this is what I was saying, because yesterday on the show, we asked the question, where does Aldrich Estime stand amongst the all-time running backs at Notre Dame? They didn't even have him in the top 10. So I'm like, y'all didn't even have him in the top 10, but y'all super upset about him not making the Doak Walker semifinal list. And I know they're independent of one another, but I just thought it was interesting. But it goes to this, bro. It goes to this. What has been left out of Thanksgiving dinner that needs to be added? Now, see, like most people wouldn't put jerk chicken into the Thanksgiving dinner. That's something that, we were allowed to bring to the table. And mom said, hey, I got you.
Yeah.
Like, we want to know what dish would you like brought maybe from another culture? Like, dude, I have friends. I have Puerto Rican friends, dude. I love mofongo. I love tostonos or tostones. I can have it, dude. I can have it for Christmas. I can have it for Thanksgiving. I don't matter. If it's on the menu, I'm fine. I want to know, chat. Let us know. Is there anything you would bring from another culture? I don't want the green bean casserole. Y'all can keep that.
Keep that. Keep that.
Right? The potato salad.
I don't even want to give my answer. I don't even want to give my answer because I felt good giving the dressing stuff in answer. I felt good because I was devaluing something that's overvalued. But I'm about to put some value on something that already costs too much. Already costs way too much. I don't know what happened, but the price of these skyrocketed overnight. Oxtails. You got to have them oxtails. You got to put them oxtails on the floor.
You're putting it in a stew. You putting it like grill, bringing them out of the oven with their own gravy to it.
Grilled oxtails. That's interesting.
You never had grilled oxtails?
I've never had it. I've never had it.
You know, you can cut them skinny.
My family does it. They boil it all day. Them things is boiling all day, throwing in ingredients all day. You know, that's just the reality of them things. And let me tell you now, I like my oxtails like I like my women. They dark and thick. Okay, those are just that's what it got to be in order for me to be happy with them oxtails. Now I don't want none of them light skinned oxtails. You keep them away from me. But you put that thing in that stew, you get that just right with that little browning sauce. You get that just right over that better rice. With them little plantains on it. Hold on now. You're talking the talk. You're talking the talk that I need to hear. Honestly, I think that there are very few holidays where you can't do oxtails. I think summer holidays, all right, kind of keep oxtails off the menu because it's too hot. And you got to make oxtails. Again, the way my family makes oxtails, it's an all-day thing. It's all day. So,
absolutely.
You know, you heating up the house all day. Don't do that for the 4th of July. What are we doing here? Don't do that for Juneteenth. You know, well, hold on now. Juneteenth, we might need to fire up the oxtail. Maybe that's the one somehow. But Labor Day, all that, you know, keep it under wraps. Keep it under wraps. Bring it back out for the winter holidays, you know, and all that good stuff. But I love me some oxtails. We need to add that to the Thanksgiving repertoire. But those are hard to make. If your family can't cook, do not put oxtail on that menu. You just go drive up the price, playing around. Don't do it.
Did you see the brothers? Which one of them was on house arrest already? They got arrested for stealing all of the oxtails they stole.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad at them because, like you said, the price of oxtails has gone through the absolute. The roof is the ceiling, as Michael Jordan.
Let me tell you something. Stealing that much meat is deplorable. It's shameful. It's downright disgusting. It's eroding the fabric of our society. If you stole some oxtails, tell me where you at. Tell me how much you selling them for, brother. Tell me how much you selling them for. Not me, because I don't buy stolen goods. That's not me. I don't operate like that. Tell me where they are so I can report them and have them shut down immediately. Especially if they fresh out the store. Like if they real fresh, let me know where they're at. So I can get it shut down immediately.
Notre Dame fans, do you feel like Audric Estime has been or has suffered being left off the Doak Walker Award semifinal list? Do you feel like something's been stolen from him? I want to know. Do you feel like something's been stolen from Audric Estime? You saw him against North Carolina State. Yeah. Look, this is my only pushback. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be on the list, bro. I look at others and how they performed in the biggest games.
Yeah.
Audric Estime in the biggest games. And then Malik asked me yesterday, give me one. He said, I can give you a Kyron Williams moment. I can give you a CJ Prostice moment against North Carolina State when he went 94 yards. He just started. He said, every running back, I can give you a moment.
Yeah.
That beauty pageant moment. He said, Audric, and the only thing I could come up with was the Duke touchdown at the end of the game to close it out. That was really it.
So here's where I think Audric Estime suffers. He suffers from the diversity of this offense and how many other guys are getting touches, how many other guys are getting involved. If you look at most of the guys who, and can you name the finalists for me, just so I can be sure here? Because I know for a fact that the guy from Oklahoma State is one of them. Ollie Gordon the second.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Omarion Hampton is there as well, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Those guys have very non-split backfields. They're getting the lion's share of the touches. Like Behind Omarion Hampton, their second leading rusher at UNC is their quarterback, Drake May. Ollie Gordon II, let me tell you something right now, okay? That boy is putting that – we need to make sure that his back is still stable after carrying this team up the hill the entire year. Nobody else has done precious little, if anything, for Oklahoma State. I do agree that Audric Estime, when you give him the ball, if he was asked to be, the bell cow 24/7, I'd absolutely give it to him. In terms of his impact on the game, this comment from Mark with the glasses, last 2 years, never lost a game where he had 100 yards. Well, guess what needs to be done? Guess what? Keep it simple, stupid. All these offensive coordinators want to be cute. We want to be tricky. Why run power when we can run power fake Y banana? Why do that?
Which they ran like how many times against North Carolina State?
But that's my point exactly. Sometimes you can just look at the team and say, hey, we're bigger than you, we're stronger than you, we're more physical than you. We got an offensive line that's better than yours. We look better than you. We can make $1 quicker than you. Our shoes better than yours. Our car better than yours. We're going to run the ball downhill at you until you prove you can stop us. And I think that that's what's held Notre Dame back at multiple points this year, the reluctancy to do that, the reluctancy to stick with it and say, you know what? Yeah, they stopped us for a couple drives, but guess what? Joe Alt leaning on you in the first quarter ain't the same as him leaning on you for the 35th time in the fourth quarter. That just ain't how it works. Gaines leaning on you for the first time ain't the same as when he leaned on you for the 40th time. All of a sudden, you get a little bit heavier. You get a little bit those hands get a little bit tighter on you. So, I mean, the reality is, I like Audric Estime, but again, he just suffers from the fact that this team kind of spread the wealth around a little bit, as opposed to him being the guy 24/7, like, hey, he's it, and that's it.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. We thank you guys for joining us. Once again, YouTube, subscribe, the thumbs up, smash it for us, hit the notification bell. Every time we go live, you'll know you'll be locked in. Lucky Lefty Pod on X or Twitter, however you want to talk about it. And don't forget, CFB Nation, as always, presented by Twisted Tea. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify daily. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. Say it with me. You already know. We spin it different. That's what we do. Great conversation with our brother Ken Gibbs today. Once again, locked on ACC, locked on Wolfpack. Dude, what else, bro? I mean, dude, the portfolio is getting extra large. What else do you have going on?
I mean, listen, that's, Locked On Wolfpack, Locked On ACC, and Locked On College Football Live. Facts Over X as well, and those are the only podcasts that I'm doing at the moment. But, I'm always excited to come on the Lucky Lefty Podcast, because I'll tell you what, it's always a great time. It's always a great time. I hate people that, take ball too serious and like, oh, ball is life. We need to talk ball for the next. Listen, these you got a great crew here. You got a great crew in this audience. You got a great crew in the comments, and it'd be a shame. It'd be a shame for them to not attempt to crucify me over stuffing. You know what I mean? I know. I want to lose it. I want to lose it. I want to bring everybody back. Just know I am a yam and mac and cheese guy. Big time. That yam, mac and cheese green, when you get them all on the same fork.
So you don't mind them touching?
No, not at all.
Malik has a problem with his food touching. I'm like, come on, you got to grow up.
My big brother is the same way. He's the same way. He likes all his food, super separate. Don't want wet foods touching dry foods, even if it's double wet, double hot. He just don't like them touching each other. And I'm just like, listen, it's all going down the same place. It's all going. What are we doing here? What do we do? We can taste the flavor. Let them mix a little bit. Let them get in there. Get together. See what happens. It's a parade inside your taste buds. Let it happen. Just let the spirit of the fork flow through you. You are just the vessel. They're experiencing what the fork has gotten you to, brother. You got to understand that. You got to understand it.
Everybody, have a fantastic and blessed Thanksgiving. Enjoy your families. If you're traveling, safe travels. Godspeed over you, that you get back to your destination in safety after you're done spending time with the family over the holiday, man. I got some big coupons. I'm about to go shop, bro. I'm about to go shop and enjoy myself and enjoy my family. Bro, let me know if you're getting that Chicago ticket, because I got you.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving to all the folks on Lucky Lefty Podcast. And more importantly than that, don't act too crazy on Black Friday. They don't even got Black Friday deals like they used to, okay? Them TVs used to be so cheap. Even if you caught a charge beating up somebody granny over it, it would be cheaper to get the TV on discount and pay for the lawyer and pay for the court fees than it would be to just get the TV whole price. It's not the same no more. Again, you know, the same thing I said about those people stealing meat, okay? If you know somebody who's stealing 70-plus inch TVs, tell me where they are so I can go get them shut down post-haste. Post-haste, I'll get them shut down.
But we don't do the black market though.
No, we don't. We shut down the black market because again, it's dangerous. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Lucky Lefty, man. Spin it different today. We appreciate you guys.